Hey everyone, so for this week's update, we have a major one, so I'm just going to get right into it. Starting up with the GameCube, we have F-Zero GX. Now, the case is not in the best condition, but originally, I never owned the case for this. Back maybe in like 2008 or 9, I went to a GameStop and I picked up a copy of F-Zero GX, but it didn't have the case. It had one of those generic GameStop cases, so it's nice to have it complete, and unfortunately, I did get rid of the disc, so this one nowadays is complete. I don't know what that is, though. Next up, as you probably already saw, Legend of Zelda Four Swords Adventures. What's cool about this is the case is in great condition, but it comes with everything, including the manual, which is right there. There we go. This is actually one of the only Zelda games I've never played, with the exception of the Minish Cap, so it's nice to have this, so I'm eventually going to get the Minish Cap next. For the Nintendo Wii, I got Donkey Kong Country Returns. I actually did want to get the 3DS version of it, but I saw the Wii one, it was cheap, so I figured why not. I've been in like a Donkey Kong phase lately, so I've been playing a lot of them, especially the, the one for the Super Nintendo, Donkey Kong Country. So this is actually a pretty good pickup. So moving away from consoles, we're going to move into portables, so I'm just going to get right into it. First up is Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge for the Nintendo Game Boy. I've actually never played this, but I heard these games are pretty similar to the NES ports. They're not, I don't think they're the exact same game, but they play similarly to them, so that's kind of cool. Next up is Kirby Dream Land 2. I only ever owned the first one. I did own Kirby Dream Land 3, but I sold it, so I now have the second one. I'm eventually going to get the third one all over again, but I've never played this one, so it's really nice to have it. A game I've actually never played as well, Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters. I've never actually even seen this. I had no idea this was even a game until my friend told me about it. Because originally I was going to get the 3DS version of Kid Icarus Uprising, but when I saw the way the controls work, I'm like, yeah, that's not really for me. So instead I'm going to probably try this game out and see how it is. Next up is Solar Striker. This is just a space shooter, but I actually picked it up because I was surprised. Nintendo actually made this game. So I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. I've never even seen this before. I tried it out. I thought it was pretty good, so it's a nice little pickup. And it was cheap, too. It was like $10, I think. So moving back to Donkey Kong for a minute, I got Donkey Kong Land for the Game Boy. I originally only ever owned the second one of these. I got it actually back when I first got my Game Boy Color. It was Pokemon Blue and Donkey Kong Land 2 were my main two games that I got back then. Then my third game was actually Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, which I got, I think it was like a week after my birthday by then. But this game's pretty good. I mean, some people complain about it because it's so zoomed in and the controls aren't really the best. You kind of like, when you fall, it's almost like full gravity. You just fall like a bowling ball. But I don't know, I seem to like it so far. The one I've been playing a lot, though, that I picked up is Donkey Kong Land 3. This one, in my opinion, of the three Donkey Kong Land games, is probably the best one. The thing I really like about it, though, is that it's easy to save, it's very easy to actually just pick up and play, and it feels a lot like the Donkey Kong games on the Super Nintendo. Keeping up with the Game Boy Color, we have, well, I think this is Game Boy / Game Boy Color, because this is one of the black cartridges, but Power Quest. This is a Sunsoft game that's actually a fighter. It's alright so far. I haven't really put a lot of time into it yet, but from what I've played, I actually enjoy it, so for what it's worth, it was good. Is good, I should say. Now to Game Boy Color, I did get Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Color. You'll see what I picked up after, but I thought this was a pretty cool little pickup. It was cheap, and it was a nice little way to find this. But I want to move on to Game Boy Advance, and then I'll get to the big surprise at the ending. But keeping up with Donkey Kong, just like I was mentioning, I did buy the Game Boy Advance port. So these are, obviously they're both Donkey Kong Country 1, but I wanted to test this out, and I really did want the GBA version, because Donkey Kong Land 3 on the GBA, I know some people don't like Donkey Kong Country 3. I happen to like Donkey Kong Country 3, but I wanted to get the first one, and I couldn't get the first one without getting the second one, which is what most people consider to be the best one of the three. So I did get Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 to add into that third game. So I will say, though, I did buy 2 reproductions, but I'll explain why. I bought Mother 1 and 2 and Mother 3. The main reason I bought them was because Mother 3, English translation, and Mother 1 and 2, English translation. That's literally the only reason, because I can't read Japanese that well, so I felt that I just needed to get those. So those are the only quote-unquote reproduction games that I bought. Going back to Rare for a minute, though, I did get Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. I played a little bit of this game so far, and I actually like it. I did play the original Banjo-Kazooie, God, maybe 15 years ago at this point. It's been a long time. I picked up Mega Man and Bass. This was actually a remake of a Super Famicom game with the same name. So I actually really enjoy this so far. Plus, Bass was one of my favorite characters when I was a kid. I had the action figure for him and everything. Back to F-Zero, though. I got F-Zero GP Legend. This is a game I always wanted, but I only owned a Japanese version of it. Now I can say I own the English one. Now I just gotta get F-Zero Climax. I picked up Sonic Advance 3, which is this is the second to last one I'm missing, because I don't have Sonic Advance. I think it's, yeah, I'm only missing Sonic Advance 1. But I have Sonic Advance 2. I beat it. I loved it, so I picked up the third one. Only downside is I don't think there's a Chao Garden in that. For Famicom remakes, I got The Mysterious Murasame Castle. This game is a lot like a Zelda game, and it's actually really good from what I've played so far. A game I was actually live streaming last night is Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. I freaking love this game. I've been playing it like crazy. It feels so much like a Paper Mario game, and I feel so stupid that I missed out on this years ago. I only ever had partners in time. Keeping up with the track, I have Metroid Fusion. This is the only Metroid game that I picked up, but I definitely wanted it more than anything, because they didn't have Zero Mission, unfortunately. I picked this up because I used to watch the show years ago, Shaman King Legacy, and what caught my eye was that Konami made it, so I wanted to check that out. And it was a platformer, so why not? I picked up Advance Wars. I know that there's the Switch version of Advance Wars 1 2, but I think it just looks fugly, so I did get the original GBA port. And the last GBA game I picked up was Klonoa Empire of Dreams. This one I actually bought online, though, so everything else was in store. This one was online. And the last major product that I bought, this is actually a huge surprise even for me. I didn't expect to pick this up, but Pokemon Red in the box. So it is a complete in-box Pokemon Red. It has a Pokemon Red inside of it with a new battery. The box is a little damaged, but that's okay for the price I paid. I'm legitimately shocked. I took a look at it just to make sure. It's got the original manual, it's got everything in it, it's got all the packaging, and it has the Pokemon Red with a new battery in it. So I'm like, this is so cool. I don't plan on using this Red for streaming or anything. It just makes a really nice display piece. But to me, I've always wanted at least one Pokemon game in the box, and I could happily say that I have it now. My goal is to eventually get Pokemon Yellow and Blue in the boxes, but I'm just so shocked that I even own this right now. Like, I'm holding it in my hands, I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even realize I owned this just now. So this was like the big one for me. But other than that, I picked up all this, and I'm just really like, this was a big purchase. I told you guys I was going to a couple of stores that I never go to. I was checking out some new stuff, and that just caught my eye, and I'm like, holy shit, I need this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, like the video, and feel free to leave a comment if there's any particular game you want me to look at, pick up, or recommend. Thank you again. Have a great day. Bye.